defining a
Sorry, yeah, you can tell me your doubt again.
your in interface, you're defining a method, right?
Yeah.
Is it necessary the parameters also should match in the class where we implement the interface?
Yes, exactly.
The parameters should match.
Yeah. So whatever structure you define in your interface, the same thing you're going to override and write your own logic. So if you have it parameter, you need to have the respective parameter structure. So
Okay. If we define it without a parameter, then we cannot add parameters in the implementing class.
yes, yes. So we can try everything, all the possible combinations which are successful and failure right now. So you can share your screen.
Oh, sorry, Sneha, I couldn't able to share actually. Sorry, my laptop
No
got
problem, no problem. You can
restarted.
share next time, no issues.
Yeah.
Basically, when you try to type right, it will build more confidence and you will get to get the speed. That is the reason I'm asking you guys to share. And
Yeah.
so yeah, you can do it next time, no issues.
Okay.
So now let's have a very generic thing. We'll go with the shape, the same logic which we learned now. We'll understand the concept through inheritance and then through interface. So just create a class shape. So others can also help her on providing the attributes and the methods. So it will be more interactive.
So, since you are not specifying access modifier, this will be visible to the package, right? Default.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So if she has everything in a single package, it's accessible. If you're trying to have some other package and there you're trying to use the shape object or the shape class, then you'll not be able to use the values. Okay. So is the way she defined this like if suppose our method length is int, which is default access specifier, and when you create the getter and setter, should that method should have public scope or should have default scope?
Can you repeat your question?
So right now the attribute which she created, length, breadth, area, perimeter, is not having the public access specifier. So they fall into default, like friendly explain, which can be accessible only within the package. Now, when you're trying to create your getters and setters, right, to get your input or to set the value or update the values, in that case, whenever we had that private, we were having the access specifier as private. We were having those respective getters and setters as public access specifier. So in right now in our scenario, this is default. Should our getters and setters still be public or can be default is my question.
I feel it can be default or public, but not private.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
So what if I'm using this shape object in some other package and I'm trying to get breadth value, get breadth method? Will that still support me to get the value of breadth?
It won't. Default.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. The way you can continue. I'm just recollecting the concepts which we learned earlier.
You mean the default access specifier can be accessed within the class or
within the package, not within the class. So if you're having a package called inheritance, and within the inheritance, she has created the class shape. And the driver class is also within the inheritance package. You will be able to get your breadth, length, everything. But now I'm having one more package called polymorphism. And in that, I'm trying to invoke this particular shape object, shape class. In that scenario, my breadth and length will not be accessible.
Okay.
We haven't tried that case, right? Like
Yeah,
access
we
specifier,
haven't
right?
tried. Yeah, we'll do that also.
They have always been creating a single package only.
Yes, yes.
Maybe
So far we didn't go with the packaging structure. You can start experimenting these things when you start using the editor and you're creating more than one package folders, right? Then you will be experimenting this purely. So that is the reason I never bought this here. So once you start writing your own code, how to structure your packaging part, right? Then you'll be able to understand them.
Okay.
Right now you should be good with go with a single package. We'll be coming up with multiple packages once we are good with its interface concept. Then you might get these issues on the access space. So
Okay.
So you're given length, breadth, area, and perimeter. Okay. But to calculate your area, you need to have those length and breadth, right? Okay, fine. Okay, let's have this as a default. Now we'll extend one more class that extends this shape, and then we'll write our logic there. Try to have these classes in similar folder, otherwise you'll get an error.
Do you want to create in the same shape, in the same notepad, Sneha, in the same page?
Not in
Or
the
I
same
have
notepad, you can have a
separately?
different class. Yeah. You can still write in same class, but right now you're learning the concepts. So I'm asking you to write separate classes. But once you feel so comfortable on handling all these classes, you can still maintain everything in a single file. Rectangle, extends, shape. And now, can we have one default constructor here, Divya, for rectangle? What are you trying to do now? No, don't go with the object creation yet. Now have your method, okay? The same method which you created in shape, get area, and the other method, just copy paste from that class and paste it here. And for perimeter, we need the two attributes, right? You need length and the breadth to calculate them. Again, for perimeter, you can just write the formula 2 into L plus B. No, don't define attributes. Don't define attributes. Just in the perimeter, within the sysout, have a formula of 2 into L plus B or A plus B, whatever you want. 2 open bracket and then L plus B. Then close the bracket. save it. And also, can we have one default constructor in shape class? Okay. Now create one driver class and then create the object for shape and create the object for rectangle. So within the public static void main, create object for shape and rectangle. Okay, now just compile all the three classes. Before that, one small correction. Can you go to the rectangle file once? We didn't get the understood. Okay. In the ln to be read, as of now, can you just keep it in double quotes? We'll fetch those values a little later. Now, right now, we'll just see the object creation. Just paste it within double quotes so that we won't get error. Now you can compile those classes. Missing written statement. Okay, you defined as in, but you are just printing the sysout. So can you go into that and just give return 0 after sysout? Because you have defined as int, that is the reason it's expecting return type. Just copy paste the same and keep it for perimeter also.
Sneha, also, if we declare as int, the return statement should be the last line of that block actually.
Yeah,
Because when
that
I
is the
tried,
actual
I
case
got
where
some
you have the value. I think the same you have it in rectangle also. Maybe you can correct and compare. Okay. Now you can execute driver class. You don't need to execute shape. You need to execute the driver class. Because your main method is present only in driver, where you're using the shape and the other classes there. So you need to just compile, execute it. Okay. Now, if you see, the Java driver class is printing shape twice and rectangle constructor once. Why? Now, can you go to your driver class once? Yeah. So here, whenever we created the shape object, so which is your parent class, and the shape class, only first line got printed. When you're creating the object for rectangle, we are internally giving the keyword extends shape. So what happened? Shape default constructor sysout also got printed first as a parent, and then your constructor of rectangle was printed. So how is this relation happening is whenever you're trying to create an object, this would be the execution. Your parent class gets executed, and post that the properties of that gets executed, and then it comes to the child class. Now we'll do one more tweak. After this rectangle object, right? Can you just print system.out.println?
You mean to say like that the first object invokes the constructor of parent class, and the second object invokes both parent and child constructor?
Yeah. So just give some data to differentiate the next object part. You can give any text within it. A star 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 or something, whatever. Basically to separate your text. Now after that, can we create an object shape s equal to new rectangle? Yeah, now compile and execute it. So Janaki, yes. So whenever you're using the extends keyword, internally you're using your, I think yes object, you already used it. Just change the object name. So whenever you invoke child, in the child class, you invoke your parent class, by default, the parent constructor will also get invoked as part of that. So in this scenario, if you observe, what we are trying to do is we are still creating the object for your rectangle, new rectangle, but you're assigning it to what? S1. So now, after this, can we just print like before 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Can we create s dot get area? Can we print s dot get area before 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? S dot get area. And next line r dot get area. No, before 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 itself, you paste the same thing also. Just copy paste and just change the object name to R. And the same thing, copy paste after the second object which you created as S1, right? After that, can you just paste it again? No, only one is enough. One should be fine. You have created only one thing here. And just rename S to S1. Oh, save it. And then compile. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, done. Now if you go for s dot get area, the shape was having the default area sysout, and it was just printing the parent sysout. Now in the rectangle get area, I'm overriding the area logic as L into B, and that got printed. Now what I'm doing in the second scenario is I'm assigning the new rectangle object to S1. So which is internally rectangle object, but I'm giving the feasibility that it can be assigned to the parent reference, so that when I invoke the s1.getArea, I can still see the output of only my rectangle and not the parent. So whenever you wanted to create an object to your child, what you can do is you can either do a complete creation like you did rectangle object equal to new rectangle and invoke the r.getArea method, or you can have shape object equal to new rectangle. This shape is your parent class and you're giving the new rectangle. Why are we providing like that? What is the advantage of doing it? The basic thing is you're not tightly coupling your object of rectangle only to rectangle. You're giving a feasibility, like in future, my S1 object can have some other object which I can override later point of time. So now let's create one more class as square. Just copy paste the same rectangle class, rename the rectangles with square.
1 minute, Sneha. Shape S1 is equal to new rectangle, right? It
Yeah.
also calls shape and then rectangle constructor also.
No. So the object you're creating is like after assignment, you see new rectangle. New rectangle is your rectangle class, right?
But it has called shaped also. This is coming from the shape constructor.
Yeah. That is coming from shape constructor because your object is internally extending your shape class. That is why default constructor shape and rectangle constructor got printed. But I'm explaining on the second line get area method where you can still see the print of your rectangle only, not the shape one.
Okay.
Okay, so now you create one more class called square and then create the object similar here, like shape S2 equal to or S1 equal to new square. Replace all rectangles with squares. There's a space within that. And the constructor, yeah. Just before area, just give square area, so you'll be able to see some difference in your print. Okay, save it. No, you just don't need to create a object. Just give S1 equal to new square. Don't create separate object. Just directly give S1 equal to new square. After this.
Yes.
No, instead of creating shape S2, replace that with S1. S1 object, which you created already above. Don't create shape class. Just take that class also. You're just assigning the S1 object with new value, new square. That's it. No, remove that also. Just have S1 on your left side. S1 equal to new square. So what I'm doing is my parent is already shape. So now what I'm doing is instead of creating something again like square object equal to new square, I'm directly assigning my new square to my S1. And now print S1 dot get area. Okay. You compile the square class. No, Java driver class. No, main class. Okay. So now if you see the shape, a rectangle and area L into B got printed. And when I'm creating my again object S1 is equal to new square, again the object of shape and the square constructor got printed. And now if you see in the get area, I'm assigning to my square area of L into B. So the thing is, my feasibility of creating an object by mapping it to my parent is whenever I needed the object to be mapped to any particular child class, I can do that. Otherwise, in the top, when you create a rectangle object, you're explicitly creating a tight relation only for rectangle. If you want to create a relationship with square, I need to go again and create one more square object and then create and then use that method to call my respective methods and attributes. To avoid that, what is Java is telling is like, you can assign any type of object on your right side. It can be rectangle, square, triangle, anything. But when on left side, it will always be my parent. So why do we go for this is like, whenever you're writing your interface, you can just have your method with only shape object. And that shape object can be rectangle, can be triangle. You can pass any type of object in that case. If you make it more tight, like you should accept only rectangle object, then there is no need for you to go to an interface. So right now we created the class. So the basic advantage of doing the below behavior is, whenever you're writing some methods and we are passing the respective objects as shape or rectangle or triangle, right? In that case, you don't need to have multiple overloaded methods with the different attributes of your child classes. You can still have only shape as your parameter, where you can pass any type like rectangle, square, or any type of shapes as the object to that particular method to get it invoked and behavior. So you got an idea on it, why we are creating this way. Both work same. Only thing is, you don't need to write n number of methods for your rectangle, triangle. Overloaded methods can be avoided if you just have your parameter as parent object, which can be identified on your runtime. So there is no need that you need to have everything like this. Like every time, like shape area or inside area method, I have the shape type like square. So I'm giving square class object square. Now I have another area where I have rectangle class and rectangle reference. I have one more area, and then I have circle and then circle reference. So instead of creating 3 overloaded methods, I'm going to make it simplified. Area, within that shape class, S object. That's it. So whatever object you call as part of area, I can invoke it. I can pass rectangle object, new rectangle. I can pass new triangle, new square, anything I can pass when I'm invoking that particular reference. So we understood why we are using the second type of method creation instead of going with tightly coupling of rectangle object.
I got it.
Okay. Now, let's understand the keyword super. So you know that this keyword yesterday, you have learned this keyword, right? Where you can invoke all the properties of the same class there itself. Now, the super is something which does exactly like this. But what is the advantages if you want to use the property values which you passed to your parent class or used in your parent class, but you need to have still the values same as in your child classes too. In that case, you can use super keyword and have the behavior implemented or imported into your child classes. For that, we'll have super keyword. And the super keyword can be used within the constructors, and it can also be used within as a parameter, like attributes, and also as a method. Yes, Divya? Divya, you are asking some question?
No, Sneha, I didn't ask anything.
Okay. Okay. So now let's experiment the super keyword as part of this now. Can you go to your shape class? And can we have one parameterized constructor with length and breadth? So to use the same attribute, right? What you'll use this dot keyword. So you can use that. Int length. You give the same method, same variable name as you have in your class level. No. I want you to use the attribute names length and breadth as you defined in your class variables. Same thing. Yeah, length and breadth. And within that, to assign the value, you can use this dot length equal to length and this dot breadth equal to breadth. Okay, and have one sysout to know like how the objects are getting called when you invoke it from your child class. Just have shape parent or P, something to identify. That's it. Now go to your rectangle class. Have here you can just copy the same shape constructor and rename it in the rectangle parameterized constructor. Yeah, if you have square open, you can do there itself. Just you can type it in square also. No issues. Have one parameterized of square. Now here, instead of having this dot length and this dot breadth, just use the keyword super small, yeah, and then open and close, and then semicolon. And just change the class name to square instead of shape. No, don't have anything within super. Just have super, that's it. And now within the shape, right, instead of shape, rename that to square. Your parameter is considered having a shape. Okay. Now, after the super keyword, like in the sysout, can we just print the length and breadth? Like after equal to, like within the double quotes after that, plus this dot length or length, whatever you want, just print them. Okay, just print length, which we can have one value, that should be fine. Just print length. In same way in your shape constructor also, try to have this dot length in your sysout. This dot length. And save it. And no, don't give this here. Don't give this here. That is what we're going to try. Yeah. Now can we go into your compilation? Sorry, you need to go into your driver class. We need to create one object with parameter. Yeah. Now here, just have one more sysout and give one hyphenated sysout to differentiate your objects. Okay. And now create one object, shape S2 equal to new square of and pass some values in square. Okay, and now create one more object, shape S3 equal to new shape, and pass some different values there. Pass some different. Save it and compile. Now execute. You can just press up arrow. You should be able to get your Java driver class. Okay. Now after FS switch, yeah. So now if you see there, can you go to your driver class? Okay. So now what happened is we invoked first square object with 1, 2. So now in square object, we just gave the super constructor, and within the super constructor, post that we just printed the length of 1. So we just got printed it. And in the new shape object, we got 5, 6. And now in S3, you just got the parameterized constructor and the 5 got printed. So nowhere your child class or the parent class reference was invoked. It was very direct, like whatever you had in the class was got printed. Now, if suppose you want the behavior of your parent class in your square class, okay? Now, what you can do is, after S3 object get created, right, Divya, you can just give S3 dot. And can you go to your shape, so square class and show me the methods you created? Okay. Now go to your square class. Okay. Now here have one more parameterized constructor of square. We changed something in square, right? Earlier, we added the parameterized constructor, right? But that is getting missed. Okay. Yeah. So now in your square, you have this in. Now here in the instead of length, give super dot length. Yeah. Save it and then recompile again. So what is the value you got printed in square right now? So your default constructor shape got invoked when you created the object, but you see this constructor with 0 value. Why? Can someone say why?
Default value of the object. Sorry,
Default value of
the variable.
Parent class, parent constructor.
no.
Can you show me the
In
square
my square object, I didn't have any parent. Square is my child. So in the child, I just gave the keyword super dot and the length attribute. But nowhere else I created the shape object before that or invoked any parameterized constructor. So that is the reason you are getting a default value of 0. Now
Let's
what you can do
check
is,
this.
now what you can do is within that super, right? Try to give length comma breadth. So far your super didn't have any parameters. Now you give length comma breadth. Save it and then recompile.